In this video, we will understand the concept of GST, that is Goods and Service Tax, the tax which is payable on all the goods and services. Not all goods and services, actually there are some goods and services which are exempted from this tax, which we will see later in this video. So what is GST? GST is a single tax policy for the whole nation which was implemented in India on 1st July 2017. So there are two types of taxes. First, direct tax, which include income tax, property tax, corporate tax, and many more. And next is indirect tax, which includes sales tax, VAT, entertainment tax, custom duty, and many more. Now, instead of all these indirect taxes, there is just one tax, which is GST. Now, what is the benefit of this GST? For example, earlier, if a good is to be exported from Delhi to Mumbai, so Mumbai would charge a different rate of tax. Karnataka would charge a different rate of tax. But now, because of this GST, there is a uniform policy of tax all over India. That means Mumbai will also charge the same rate of GST as Karnataka. Now, there are different GST rate slabs in India. These are 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. That means on all the goods and services, either there is no tax, either there is 5% GST, 12% GST, 18% GST, or 28% GST. Now let us see which all goods and services are included in all these slabs respectively. There are some of our basic daily requirements which are exempted from these tax, which include bread, salt, napkins, newspapers, fruits and vegetables, books, etc. The goods which are covered under 5% rate slab include sugar, tea, oil, spices, medicines, and the services include railways, food from small restaurants, etc. Under 12% GST rate slabs, the goods included are cell phones, butter, cheese, sewing machine, movie tickets below rupees 100, etc. Under 18% GST rate slab, the goods which come are washing machine, mineral water, shampoo, furniture, movie tickets above rupees 100, etc. Under 28% GST rate slabs, goods included are cars, cement, cigarette, motorcycles, bill of hotel stay above 7500 rupees, betting in casino, etc. Now let us see how does GST works with the help of an example. We all know how does a product reaches its final destination, that is to the consumer. So the supply chain of the product is as follows. First, the product is manufactured by the producer, who then sells it to the wholesaler. The wholesaler further sells the product to the retailer, and finally it reaches its final destination, that is to the consumer, who uses it for his or her personal requirement. Now let us suppose the GST rate is 12% and the producer bought the raw materials for rupees 5,000, which already includes the GST of rupees 600, that is 12% of 5,000. Now after the product is made, the producer decides to make a profit of rupees 1,000 and sells the product to the wholesaler for 6,000 rupees. Now the 6,000 rupees already includes the GST of rupees 720, that is 12% of 6,000. Now let us see what will happen. Will the producer give this whole 720 rupees to the government? No. Since the producer has already paid GST on 5,000 rupees, he will only pay the amount of GST on the additional amount, that is 1,000 rupees. So the GST paid to the government will be 720 minus 600, which is 120 rupees. He will only pay the GST for the additional amount, that is output tax minus input tax. The output tax already included the GST of the input tax which was paid by the producer earlier. So now he will keep the 600 rupees with himself and pay the rest of the 120 rupees to the government. Now the wholesaler bought the product for 6,000 rupees and he decides to make a profit of 1,000 rupees and sells it to the retailer for 7,000 rupees. Now this 7,000 rupees already includes the GST of rupees 840, that is 12% of 7,000. So what will happen with the wholesaler? The wholesaler will again keep the amount which he has already paid, on which he has already paid the tax earlier, and will pay the tax only on the additional amount, that is again 840 minus 720, which is 120 rupees. Now the retailer buys the product for 7,000 rupees and decides to make a profit of 500 rupees. So he will sell it to the consumer for rupees 7,500. Now the tax amount paid on the product is 12% of 7,500, which is 900 rupees, and the tax paid to the government will be 900 minus 840, which is rupees 60, because he has already paid the tax on the 7,000 rupees earlier. So he will only pay the tax on the additional amount, which is 500, to the government. So the tax on the additional amount is rupees 60. The consumer finally will buy the product for rupees 7,500, which includes the GST of 900 rupees. So what is happening here? The GST is paid to the government is only output tax minus input tax. That is, the tax is only on the profit or the additional value. Now you can see the 12% of 1000 is rupees 120. 12% of 1000 is again rupees 120, and 12% of 500 is rupees 60, which is output tax minus input tax. This example brings us to the concept of input tax credit. Now what is input tax credit? It is the tax paid only on the value added, that is the additional value. We saw in the example the tax paid to the government was only on the profit. So it is a provision of reducing the tax already paid on the input to avoid cascading of tax. What is cascading of tax? That is taxation on tax. If the producer would have paid the whole 720 rupees to the government, so then he would have paid the tax twice on the input product. So we can understand this with another example. If the output tax is rupees 1000 and the input tax is rupees 700, so the tax paid to the government will only be 1000 minus 700, which is 300. He will keep the 700 tax with himself because he has already paid that input tax earlier. So this 700 rupees will be called the input tax credit. So now this brings us to two formulas of calculating the tax payable to the government. That is, we can calculate either by subtracting the input tax from the output tax, or alternatively we can do this by calculating the tax on the profit or the value added. Now let us see a question here. A customer buys a fan from a dealer at a discount of 10% on the marked price of rupees 2000. If the rate of GST is 12%, calculate the total amount that the customer has to pay for the fan. Now the marked price of the fan is rupees 2000 and the selling price will be 90% of 2000, that is 1800 rupees. It will be 90% because the rate of discount is 10%. Now the GST paid by the customer on this 1800 rupees will be 12% of 1800, that is rupees 216. So the total amount paid by the customer will be the original price plus GST, which is rupees 2016. Now let us verify this answer on Excel.
As you all already know that the marked price on the fan was rupees 2000 and the discount rate was 10% and the GST rate was 12%. So let's count the discount first. So whenever we use the formula in Excel, we first put the is equal to sign. Also, whenever we have to use numerical values, instead of using these numerical values like 2000 or 10% or 12%, we use their cell names. For example, the cell name for rupees 2000 is C7. The cell name for 10% is B1. For 12%, it is B3. So let's count the discount first. So the discount will be calculated on the marked price, that is rupees 2000. So the cell name is C7. This will be multiplied by our discount rate, that is B1. We press enter and we get our answer as rupees 200. Then our subtotal will be a marked price minus the discount amount. So we use the is equal to sign, C7 minus D7. we get our answer as rupees 1800. Then the GST rate that will be calculated will be on our subtotal. So we use the is equal to sign, then E7. This will be multiplied by our GST rate, and the cell number for that is B3. We get 216 as our answer. Then the total amount that the customer has to pay will be subtotal plus the GST rate. So let's do that. Is equal to sign. Our subtotal is E7 plus the GST is F7. We press enter and our answer is 2016.
Now there are different types of GST. Let us see. First, Central Goods and Service Tax. For supply of good within the state or union territory, half of the GST collected is deposited with the central government. So for example, if a good is being exported from Ghaziabad to Kanpur and the GST rate is 18%, so half of the GST, that is 9% of the GST, will be collected or deposited with the central government. Now next comes the State Goods and Service Tax. For supply of good within the state, half of the GST collected is deposited with the state government. In this example, 9% will be deposited by the central government and the other 9% will be deposited by the state government of UP. Next comes the Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. For supply of good within the Union Territory, half of the GST collected is deposited with the Union Territory government. Now here there is no change in the concept, just the name is changed. For example, suppose a good is being exported from Delhi to Delhi. So the half of the GST will be deposited with the central government and the other half will be deposited with the government of Delhi. Now since Delhi is a union territory, so it is known as UTGST, that is Union Territory Goods and Service. So there is no change in the concept, just instead of SCGST, the tax imposed will be UTGST. Next comes the Integrated Goods and Service Tax. This is the tax which is charged on transaction of a good between two Indian states. So if a good is being exported from Delhi to Mumbai, so the tax imposed on the good will be known as Integrated Goods and Service Tax or the IGST. Now here the central government will take all the 18% of the tax and will distribute it between the state government.
So, if the sale is made within the same state, two taxes will be imposed, CGST and SGST. That is, the GST will be distributed equally among the central government and the state government. If the sale is made within the same union territory, the taxes imposed will be CGST and UTGST. If the sale is made interstate, that is between two different states of India, only one tax will be imposed, that is IGST, which is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. Here the whole amount of GST will go to the central government, which will equally distribute it among the state government.
Now let's see a question. A distributor in Delhi bought a washing machine from a manufacturer in Delhi for Rs 15,000. He sold it to a retailer in Delhi at a profit of 20%. If the rate of GST is 18%, calculate CGST and SGST. B part, GST to be deposited with the government, and C part, amount paid by the customer. Now since the good is being supplied within Delhi, the taxes which will be imposed on the good will be CGST and SGST. Actually Delhi is a union territory, so the taxes to be imposed should be CGST and UTGST, but since in the question it is given SGST, we will solve it using by taking SGST only, since the step to solve it is same. Now first, the purchase price is given 15,000. So the GST amount which will be imposed will be 18% of 15,000, that is 2,700. Now we have studied that from this 2,700, half of the GST goes with the central government and half with the state government. So the CGST will be half of 2,700, that is 1,350, and similarly the SGST will also be half of 2,700, that is 1,350. Now let us come to the next part. Next part is to calculate the GST to be deposited with the government. We have seen in previous part of the video that the GST to be deposited with the government is output tax minus the input tax. For calculating the output, we know the input tax, which is 2700, and for calculating the output tax we need to know the selling price. Now the distributor is selling the commodity at a profit of 20%, so the selling price will be 15,000 plus 20% of 15,000, that is 18,000. The output GST will be imposed on this 18,000, which will be 18% of 18,000, that is 3,240. So finally the GST to be paid to the government will be output tax minus input tax, that is 3,240 minus 2,700, which is rupees 540. Now let us see the next part. The next part is asking us to tell the amount paid by the customer. So the amount paid by the customer will be selling price plus output GST. The selling price of the distributor is 18,000 and the output GST we calculated is 3,240. So the total amount paid by the customer will be 18,000 plus 3,240, which will be 21,240. Now let us see another question. A manufacturer in Moradabad, UP marks a machine at rupees 1,40,000. He sells the machine to a dealer in Patna, Bihar at a discount of 10% on the marked price. The dealer sells it to a consumer in Nagpur at a discount of 5% on the marked price. If the rate of GST is 12%, calculate the net IGST, CGST and SGST payable by the dealer. Now to calculate IGST, CGST and SGST, we will first need to calculate the purchase price and the selling price for the dealer. The marked price was 1,40,000 and the dealer bought the machine at a discount of 10%. So the purchase price for the dealer will be 1,40,000 minus 10% of 1,40,000. That is 1,26,000 rupees. Now he sold it at a discount of 5% on the marked price. So the selling price for the dealer will be 1,40,000 minus 5% of 1,40,000, which will be 1,33,000. Now to calculate the net tax, we will need to calculate the tax, the output tax and the input tax. The output tax will be on the selling price. Now since the dealer is selling the machine from UP to Bihar, so the tax imposed will be IGST and there will be no CGST and SGST. Therefore CGST and SGST will be nil. And to calculate the IGST, we will need to calculate the output tax on the selling price, which is 12% of 1,33,000, which is 15,960. The input tax will be calculated on purchase price. That means 12% of 1,26,000, that is 15,120. So the net tax payable to the government will be again output tax minus input tax, which is 15,960 minus 15,120, and that is rupees 840. Now let us see how do we calculate the inclusive tax. By now we all know how to calculate the exclusive tax. For example, suppose you are given rupees 5,000 and you are asked to calculate GST of 12% on that rupees 5,000. You can easily tell that 12% of 5,000 will be the GST imposed on that rupees 5,000. But suppose that 5,000 rupees is already including 12% of GST. Then how will you tell the GST amount? You cannot do 12% of 5,000 since that 12% is not imposed on 5,000. It is imposed on the original price, and 5,000 is the amount we got after adding that 12% to the original amount. So let us see how do we calculate that inclusive tax. Suppose you buy a phone of 10,000 inclusive of the GST. GST rate is 18%. Now let the original price be X. So the original price plus 18% of the original price will be the net price. So X plus 18 upon 100X will be 10,000. 10,000 is the net price. Now when we'll solve it, we'll get 100X plus 18X upon 100 is equals to 10,000. When we'll further solve it, we will get the value of X as 10,000 into 100 upon 118. But now also by this X is the original price. We have not yet got the inclusive GST. The inclusive GST is 18 upon 100 into X. So we will put this value of X here. After substituting the values, we get GST as 18 upon 100 into the value of X is 10,000 into 100 upon 118. This 100 got cancelled and we get the final value of GST, that is 10,000 into 18 upon 118. From this, we have derived the formula for calculating the inclusive GST, which is net price into the GST rate upon 100 plus GST rate. Here the net price was 10,000, the GST rate was 18 upon 100 plus 18. So we have derived the formula for calculating inclusive tax.
So the net price on the product was rupees 10,000, and that already included the GST amount of with rate of interest of 18%, and we're supposed to calculate the GST amount that we are paying along with this rupees 10,000. So let's do that. You already know the formula, that is the net price that is written in our cell number C7 multiplied by C3. This will now be divided by 100 plus C3. So we have our answer as 1525.42 rupees. Also, one thing that all of you should make sure always is that whenever you calculate inclusive GST in Excel, make sure that you mention the GST rate, the value of the GST rate, that is 18 in this case, and the percentage sign both in separate cells. Because if you mention them in same cells, your net price will be multiplied by 18%, that is 18 upon 100, and not by 18. Whereas we want to multiply it with just 18 and not 18 upon 100.